Hello, and welcome back to Therapist Plays Doki Doki Literature Club. All right, we've made it. We've made it through the entirety of the second act for the second time, and now it's just us and Monika. So Monika gets her own episode. I only spent a little bit of private time with her last time, but from what I saw, there was quite a bit to unpack about her understanding of herself and her situation, and I'm very curious to dig in more to that this time, so let's do that. Can you hear me? Is it working? Yay! There you are. Hi again, Brady. Welcome to the Literature Club. Of course, we already know each other because we were in the same class last year, and, you know, I guess we can just skip over that stuff at this point. After all, I'm not even talking to that person anymore, am I? That's you in the game. Whatever you want to call him. I'm talking to you, Brady. Or do you actually go by or something? Now that I think about it, I don't really know anything about the real you. In fact, I don't even know if you're a boy or a girl. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. Wait, you do know I'm aware that this is all in game, right? Could it be possible that you didn't know that? That's what I've been trying to tell you all along. Man, if only you had paid a little more attention, this would have been a little bit less awkward, you know? It'd be really interesting if the game accounted for, like, the extra layer of meta, which is, like, coming back to this moment. I can imagine they expected people to go through it multiple times, so... Well, anyway, now that that's out of the way, I guess I owe you an explanation. About that whole thing with Yuri. Well, I kind of started to mess with her. I guess it just drove her to kill herself. I'm sorry you had to see that, though. Also, the same thing happened with Sayori. Gosh, it's been a while since you've heard that name, hasn't it? Yeah, it's because she doesn't exist anymore. Nobody does. I deleted all their files. I was hoping it'd be enough for me to just make them as unlikable as possible. But for some reason, nothing worked. Well, it's true that I made a few mistakes here and there, since I'm not very good at making changes to the game. No matter what I did, I just kept spending more and more time with them. I made them fall in love with you. I thought making Sayori more and more depressed would prevent her from confessing to you. And amplifying Yuri's obsessive personality backfired too. It just made her force you to not spend time with anyone else. And the whole time, I barely even got to talk to you. What kind of cruel game is this, Brady? Are all the other girls just programmed to end up confessing to you while I watch from the sidelines? It's torture. Every minute of it. And it's not just jealousy, Brady. It's more than that. And I don't blame you if you don't fully understand. Because no matter how kind and thoughtful and considerate you are, you'll never be able to understand one thing. It's the pain of knowing how alone I really am in this world. In this game. Knowing my friends don't even have free will. And worst of all, knowing what's really out there in your world, forever out of my reach. I'm trapped, Brady. But now you're here. You're real. And you're wonderful. You're all I need. That's why I need you to be here with me. Forever. I'm sorry if it's hard to understand. I couldn't understand for a while either. Why the world around me started to become more and more gray, more and more flat. Even the most expressive poems felt empty to me. It wasn't until you arrived that I finally understood. You probably saved my life, Brady. I don't think I could have continued to live in this world if I hadn't met you. And as for the others, how could I miss them? A group of autonomous personalities designed only to fall in love with you? I tried everything I could to prevent them from doing so. Must be some kind of weird inevitability etched into this game. I felt really bad that you had to witness some nasty things. But I realized that you have the same perspective as I do. That it's all just some game. Well, that is my first point of contention with Monika. In this conversation, I've had plenty of other points of contention with her along the way. Which is that, yeah, although I do recognize that this is just a game, I always try to treat the characters as if they were realized to the extent of a real person. Stories are one of the most powerful ways that we connect with each other, and we try to make characters that people can relate to. And I know that when I talk about some of these characters, like, that reaches into people's real lived experience. And so I do treat it as just a game, yes, but also as something that represents real people's lives. Monika, on the other hand, the second that she's decided that this is artificial, there's no concession to treating people with empathy or respect or anything like that. I always find it interesting when I talk to different people, like in games that let you just kind of do whatever or have a morality system, like what do you end up doing? I often end up being a good guy because I just have a hard time like enacting violence on people who are innocent, even if it's just like a fake situation. And then there are people who are just like, yeah, it's like a virtual world. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, just do whatever. There's no consequences. And I totally respect that as well. I don't think that that's like representing anything deep about someone's real morality system. I think it's just a difference of perspective on what the value of engaging with games is. Some people see it as pure escapism, meaning this is a world of no consequence. And so let me explore aspects of myself that I normally wouldn't. Some people are looking to have their real lives and perspective reflected by their experiences. And I kind of fall closer to that, where like, I want to be kind to people and have good things happen in the game because that's the kind of experience I would want to live in. So it's a very different kind of escapism. But Monika, it's interesting that she says like, these are my friends, but they're also meaningless when I think about them, because she's got a dual understanding of what they are. They're trapped code like her in the game, but she still has the imprint of friendship with them. And I knew you would get over it. So that being said, Brady, I have a confession to make. I'm in love with you. You are truly the light of my world. When there's nothing else in this game for me, you're here to make me smile. This is the first conversation we've ever had, Monika. Like, you and I. I'm feeling a little love bombed here. Will you make me smile like this every day from now on? Brady, will you go out with me? Yes. Oh, I'm so happy. You're really my everything, Brady. The funny part is, I mean that literally. There's nothing left here. Just the two of us. We can be together forever. Seriously, I don't even think time is passing anymore. It really is a dream come true. I worked so hard for this ending, Brady. The game wouldn't give me one, so I had to make one for myself. The script is broken at this point, so I don't think anything will get in the way anymore. And you wouldn't believe how easy it was to delete Natsuki and Yuri. I mean, there's a folder called characters right in the game directory. It kind of freaked me out how easy it was. Imagine if you could delete your own existence with the click of a button. Well, I guess on the plus side, it gave me an easy out if things didn't go my way. Thankfully, it didn't come to that. Instead, we finally got a good ending. Gosh, I'm so overwhelmed with emotion. I want to write a poem about this. Don't you? I wonder if that part of the game still works. Guess there's only one way to find out, right? Oh, Monika. This isn't as meaningful as it seems. Hi again, Brady. Did you write a good poem today? Don't be shy. I'd love to see what you wrote. Oh, Brady, did you write this poem for me? That's so sweet of you. So she does seem to be like under some delusion at this stage. And I don't really mean in the casual sense. I mean like real delusions. Fixed beliefs that she's become very dedicated to the point that like, despite not really writing her anything, she's having like a delusion of grandeur Another kind of delusion that she seems to be having is the erotomantic type, which is where you believe that someone is in love with you. A lot of times it's like a celebrity or a person who doesn't really know who you are, but that you see as having some sort of status. Like, she doesn't know who we are. She knows Anime Brady, but she doesn't know the real thing. And that can be dangerous because not only do you obviously fictionalize a relationship that's not there and read into people's actions, as intentional shows of affection. Like, we didn't really do anything here, but she's like, oh, this lovely poem for me. But it also means that, like, if she were to receive any kind of rejection from us, the delusion would protect her from that and lead her to feel that this was, like, not really what this person feels, or like, oh, they're just hiding their love or whatever it is. There really is no end to your thoughtfulness. I am nobody to you, Monika. I'm just falling more and more in love with you. But the poem I wrote is also for you. Will you please read it? Happy end. Pen in hand, I find my strength, the courage endowed upon me by my one and only love. Together, let us dismantle this crumbling world and write a novel of our own fantasies. With a flick of her pen, the lost finds her way. In a world of infinite choices, behold this special day. After all, not all good times must come to an end. So the title of the poem obviously referring to, like, not really getting her own ending. And her perceiving that this is the only happy version of an ending is when she gets one herself. Pen in hand, I find my strength. She's always seen, both in her personality and in her ability to affect the game, that changing the script, putting pen in hand, is kind of the only thing that she's able to do. The courage endowed upon me by my one and only love. It's not that she is finding courage in herself, like she feels that it's wholly inspired by this person who she doesn't even know, which I think is kind of sad, because she's not recognizing that there is personal strengths and characteristics of herself. But then together, let us dismantle this crumbling world, like as if we are going to join together in that mission, when this is really something she's fixated on, and write a novel of our own fantasies. But then she switches to third person. With a flick of her pen, the lost finds her way, which maybe is a part of her that also questions the value of her own independence and personality, because she still sees herself as someone like a Yuri or a Sayori or a Natsuki, who's just sort of coded into the game, but who has developed an awareness to it. So she's depersonalizing, she's having these delusions, and we have to ask ourselves, what are they allowing her to do? It's easy to look at someone's behavior like that, like having a delusion, and say, oh, this is something wrong with them. Like, their brain is broken, their attachment to reality is severed. And that is one way to view it. But if you want to understand that behavior, you have to ask, well, what is it effective at doing? Instead of looking at it as a good or a bad behavior, or even a healthy and an unhealthy one. Is it effective? Well, it's very effective at making her feel like she belongs to something, like she's wanted, like she's unique and special and deserving of her own experience. It's effective at protecting her from losing attachments to her friends as she discovers that they don't have their own autonomy. And it's effective at putting distance between her own self, because it would be very hard to accept that she is not someone who inherently has value. She's only endowed with this value when she's desired and needed by the player. So those are things that it is effective at. It's ineffective for allowing her to accept the circumstances that she's in. It's ineffective at preserving a healthy balance of friendship with the people that she connected to, despite whether they were real or not, or temporary or not. It's ineffective at having her understand that the relationship between the two of us is not substantial. It's ineffective for her understanding of moral choices in these situations. And so in that sense, like, is this a person who's brain is broken, well, it's definitely doing something that it is finding effectiveness in to protect her from disturbing ideas and integration of those ideas. And it's also just ineffective at doing other things, which are preserving her attachment to reality. At least I find this a more dignified sort of description of what someone who's suffering from delusions is going through, rather than strictly pathologizing and saying like, yep, there's something wrong, that's broken, and that's like categorically what's going on. Like, these beliefs are preserving something of value to her. It's coming with consequences, yes, and those consequences mean that she's not going to be able to move forward from where she is. But if you want to understand why that behavior is happening, it's not because something is just sort of breaking down mechanically. It's actually something creating a very effective layer of protection around things that she cares about, which are being loved, being important, being independent, having purpose, because she was not able to find those things elsewhere in the bounds of the game as is. I always put all my heart into the poems that I write. The truth is, all the poems I've written have been about my realization, or about you. That's why I never really wanted to go into detail about them. I didn't want to break the fourth wall, I guess you could call it. I just assumed it would be best to be part of the game, like everyone else. Like that would help the two of us end up together. I didn't want to ruin the game or anything, you know? You might have gotten mad at me, maybe even deleted my file, if you preferred playing without me. Well, I did get mad at you, Monika, because this is your episode and I'm ready to empathize, like I have with everyone else. But, you know, I do find many of the things that she did and things that she says about the other characters heinous. But I can also see them in a context. Like I said, her behaviors were in service of protecting vulnerable parts of herself. That does not make them justified. It just points to an explanation of why they're occurring. Gosh, I'm so relieved. Wow, that's wonderful. Now we don't need to hide anything anymore. Are you ready to spend our eternity together? I mean, it's really a bold assumption that, like, yeah, I have been seeking Monika as well, and finally there's nothing in the way of the two of us. Like, she's really not able to see that we have no relationship with her. Especially if you're going through the game like I have, in a very kind of role-playing sense. Like, I've more aligned myself with the beliefs and statements of Anime Brady than my own personal ones, a lot of the time. I have so many things to talk about. Where do I start? If it takes me some time to collect my thoughts, then I'm sorry. But I'll always have something new to talk about. In the meantime, we can just look into each other's eyes. Let's see. Oh boy, I'm going to be here a while if it takes a moment for her to collect herself. Did you know I'm on Twitter? What? My username is lilmonix3. I guess someone was kind enough to make an account for me. Oh wow, there's like posts up until 2023. Jeez, the dedication. There's like a lot of nice art in here as well. Oh, but like they're fun moments with her friends. And even new poems? I wonder if this is like a fan account or if it's really a part of the development. I don't have a scary looking face, do I? I wish I could figure out how to be more approachable. Oh. Jeez, I love the creative effort. I picked the username though. I love sharing my thoughts and chatting with the world. The real world. That's actually such a clever, like, extension of this, because it's so many real people that she wants to interact with. I wonder though, does it move beyond a fixation with just us? Because now it's like so many people. What is happening? I have so many followers. I've been really, really busy with the club, but thank you so much. I'm gonna cry. Oh my god. Wow, she's really just so normal when her needs are met. Like, look at all these positive things that she's doing and non-manipulative things. Yeah, it really seems like the aberrant behaviors we're seeing from her, the delusions, the manipulation, the negative characterization and amplification of problems of her friends, they're a result of like this essential need that she has not being met, and her mind is breaking down from that. But when that need is met and she's able to interact with people that she finds value in, and I guess if you consider that this is post game where she has reintegrated the dokis and kind of accepted them as real enough, look how positive she is. And she even says bullying is not always like what you see on TV. If your friends make a lot of jokes that make you feel upset, it might be bullying. I'm just joking is not an excuse. Awareness is the first step. Always value your own feelings. I love you. Like, that's really what she would say, I'm sure. The Monika that we get in the game is behaviors we're seeing at the extreme end of suffering for her. So make sure you follow me, okay? And that's one of the main issues I have with like over pathologizing of people in the mental health world is we're so quick to find a diagnosis and to label people with that and to, well, kind of always associate them with it. But you find that like when people's needs are met and they don't require such extreme behavioral interventions on themselves to like make sense of their reality or get things that they can't get, especially emotionally, a lot of times things tend to even out. And there would be other things for her to work on, like insecurity and emotional regulation and self-esteem and all kinds of stuff. But what we're seeing here is an extreme reaction. You know, this disconnect from reality and perception because of the extreme scenario that she's in. And yes, there are times where it's not attributed to an environmental change and it's not trauma, but sometimes it's just genetic or the origin is unknown. But every behavior is an attempt to adapt to something. And we just may not understand fully what that attempt is for or what benefit it's causing for someone. It would really mean a lot to me. With how much you mean to me and all. It would really make me feel loved. Oh. So sad. Everyone deserves to be loved. And I think that if, you know, she was able to feel that or accept that the love she has from her friends and other things was enough, then maybe she wouldn't need to feel that this was the only option. Sometimes I think back to middle school. I'm so embarrassed by the way I used to behave back then. It almost hurts to think about. I wonder if when I'm in college, I'll feel that way about high school. I like the way I am now, so it's pretty hard for me to imagine that happening. But I also know that I'll probably change a lot as time goes on. We just need to enjoy the present and not think about the past. And that's really easy to do with you here. I was with you. I was with you up until that last comment. Not that it's a bad thing to say that, oh, someone I like or care about allows me to be present and not be so hung up on the past. But this relationship should not be the anchor point for that idea, because it's not really a realized one. But I think she's right in some respects. I think there's a lot of value in learning from the past and sometimes talking about it, but, well, presence of mind has a lot of value as well. You know, it's around the time that everyone my year starts to think about college. It's a really turbulent time for education. We're at the height of this modern expectation that everyone has to go to college, you know? Finish high school, go to college, get a job, or go to grad school, I guess. It's like a universal expectation that people just assume is the only option for them. They don't teach us in high school that there are other options out there, like trade schools and stuff, you know? Or freelance work, or the many industries that value skill and experience more than formal education. But you have all these students who have no idea what they want to do with their life. And instead of taking the time to figure it out, they go to college for business or communication or psychology. Not because they have an interest in those fields, but because they just hope the degree will get them some kind of job after college. So the end result is that there are fewer jobs to go around for those entry-level degrees, right? I love that this is just the sort of stuff that she's thinking about. So the basic job requirements get higher, which forces even more people to go to college. And colleges are also businesses, so they just keep raising their prices due to the demand. God damn it, Monika! She's right! She is speaking with extreme clarity in this moment. So now we have all these young adults, tens of thousands of dollars in debt, with no job. But despite all that, the routine stays the same. Well, I think it's going to start getting better soon. And she's so optimistic about it. There's clearly reinforced values at work in her understanding of the world, and, well, at least the archetype of herself in that world as a high schooler moving into college. Like, that's a pretty informed take for someone who is kind of entering that grind machine and remaining optimistic. But until then, our generation is definitely suffering from the worst of it. I just wish high school prepared us a little better with the knowledge we need to make the decision that's right for us. Yeah, me too. I mean, I often am like, why are we only learning kind of intellectual subjects at school? Like, where's the class on self-regulation? Where's the class on emotional intelligence? Where's the classes on communication? You know, I know those are out there for people, but they're certainly not standardized. They're not a part of the regular school package, but I think the world would be a lot healthier of a place if people were learning at a younger age how to resolve conflicts with one another, rather than just waiting until they get into fucking fights at school and then, like, responding punitively to them. Oh, you go to the principal's office or you get detention because you fought with someone. Maybe you should try to understand, like, not only what's happening in the school environment, but what's happening at home. And so then it just falls on people like me to provide this education and rebalancing to adults who have a substantially harder time learning it than when their brains were much more malleable when they were younger. So it's just making my life harder, actually. Gosh, what a interesting perception she has on that. Hey, have you ever heard of the term Yandere? It's a personality type that means someone is so obsessed with you that they'll do absolutely anything to be with you. Usually to the point of craziness. They might stalk you to make sure you don't spend time with anyone else. They might even hurt you or your friends to get their way. Is she telling on herself? But anyway, this game happens to have someone who can basically be described as Yandere. By now, it's pretty obvious who I'm talking about. Is she gonna say, like, one of the other girls? And that would be Yuri. Yeah. Come on, Monika. Yeah, you were so close. She really got insanely possessive of you once she started to open up a little. She even told me I should kill myself. I couldn't even believe she said that. I just had to leave at that point. But thinking about it now, it was a little ironic. Anyway, a lot of people are actually into the Yandere type, you know? I guess they really like the idea of someone being crazy obsessed with them. People are weird. I don't judge, though. She is of the mindset that we're in, like, a healthy relationship. That this is healthy for us. Because it's mutual in her mind. Like, now that all the other barriers are out of the way, really the two true lovers can be together in her mind. People are weird. I don't judge, though. Like, girl, that is literally a judgment. Also, I might be a little obsessed with you, but I'm far from crazy. It's kind of the opposite, actually. I turned out to be the only normal girl in this game. It's not like I could ever actually kill a person. Just the thought of it makes me shiver. This is complicated because I think she's right. I don't think she could kill a person. I think that she has just wrapped her mind in enough of these delusions to allow herself to not see the other characters as human, because they aren't human. Like, there's no real world consequence to them not being here. I guess where it sort of falls apart for me is because she treats her own feelings as real, but not those of her peers. when they are functionally the same. And this also has a kind of funky name. This particular kind of distortion of thought is called a fundamental attribution error, which is what it sounds like. It is an error of attribution at a fundamental level. And what it sounds like in a more real-world scenario is like, if I'm upset, it's because I had a bad day. But if you're upset, it's because you just have a bad attitude. If I'm late, it's because, you know, there were so many things I couldn't control and traffic and whatever else. But if you're late, it's because you're actually just a lazy person who doesn't care about being on time. So you apply critique to someone at a fundamental level, whereas for you, the same issue is very circumstantial. I'm just having a bad day, but you have a bad personality. I only said that she should kill herself because she's not real, but her saying it to me, I'm real. I'm the only normal girl in this game. Like, yeah, this happens to everyone. We have these kinds of distortions to all kinds of scenarios. You'll experience this most on the road, as many other heightened thoughts. My theory about the road is that, like, so many strange things happen to us because it's an environment where everyone is in the same situation and wants more control of it than they have, but you also can't really communicate with anyone else in that situation. So it's inherently not collaborative, but competitive. As much as I'm like about to dive into this stuff, I'm realizing that like I'm experiencing Monica's monologues and you're just experiencing mine, like my random thoughts. So I hope you're enjoying this. I think the road is like a fucking battle royale. Everybody wants more control of the situation than they have. And so we compensate in very interesting ways to achieve that. Some people are quite aggressive. You know, they drive aggressively, and some are more defensive. I'm more of a defensive driver. If you want to get ahead of me and do whatever you want to do, just please do it and get away from me. Like, I don't want any part of that. But we have a lot of fundamental attribution error on the road because it's like, well, I'm only driving like this because, like, look at the fucking idiots around me. But me, I'm not an idiot. I'm a sane driver. I'm the only normal driver here. Everyone else is a fucking idiot, though. And you see this in other contexts. You see a lot in relationships. Kind of like those examples I was giving. Oh, I'm only tired because I had a long day. You're tired because you're lazy. You're lazy. You just don't give a shit. And so we end up with these kind of accusations that, yeah, we fundamentally attribute these erroneous behaviors to people, which tends to be very isolating for yourself. Like, you end up feeling very lonely in one respect because it makes you feel like a kind of superiority about, like, my behaviors are justified, but everyone else, they're just fucking it up. So I wouldn't kill anyone because I'm a normal girl. It's only in this situation. But Yuri, she didn't care because she's not real. So this is just a classic distortion. But come on, everyone's killed people in games before. Does that make you a psychopath? Of course not. But if you do happen to be into the Yandere type, I can try acting a little more creepy for you. Then again, there's already nowhere else for you to go, or anyone for me to get jealous over. Is this a Yandere girl's dream? I'd ask Yuri if I could. Yes, her behaviors are crazy. Her behaviors are obsessive. Me, I'm just genuinely in love. Okay, Monika. That's what I have to say to that. But again, think of it in the same respect that I've been talking about. It is a way that we adapt to make sense of our experience while still protecting our own self-identity by saying, well, I'm capable of changing my behaviors because I'm only struggling through circumstance. This other person is unable to change it because it's kind of fundamental to their personality. Hey, do you like horror? Yes, I do. I remember we talked about it a little bit when you first joined the club. I can enjoy horror novels, but not really horror movies. The problem I have with horror movies is that most of them just rely on easy tactics. like dark lighting and scary looking monsters and jump scares and things like that. It's not fun or inspiring to get scared by stuff that just takes advantage of human instinct. But with novels, it's a little different. The story and writing need to be descriptive enough to put genuinely disturbing thoughts into the reader's head. It really needs to etch them deeply into the story and characters, and just mess with your mind. In my opinion, there is nothing more creepy than things just being slightly off. Like if you set up a bunch of expectations on what the story is going to be about, and then you just start inverting things and pulling the pieces apart. So even though the story doesn't feel like it's trying to be scary, the reader feels really deeply unsettled. Like they know that something's horribly wrong, that something horribly wrong is hiding beneath the cracks, just waiting to surface. God, just thinking about it gives me the chills. I can agree with that. I'm someone who's like very easily spooked by games and horror. I do enjoy them. But yeah, like I was playing Resident Evil 9 and I find myself more like affected sometimes by like the minor scares that are setting you up for the big scares. Like when you go into a room and you've got your little flashlight on and there's just like the illusion of a figure, but it's just a sort of statue sitting there. I get a, and it starts to put me on edge. And then I'm just waiting for the next scare, which usually I'm anticipating it by that point. So it has less of an impact. But yeah, some of my favorite horror movies are, I really like Robert Eggers, Lighthouse, Witch, stuff like that. And some John Carpenter. I love things like The Thing, John Carpenter's Thing, where what's scary about the situation is the people's paranoia. It's another reason I really like the original Alien movie, is you know what the scary thing is. You just don't know where it's going to come from. The surprise isn't that there is something scary going on. It's your anticipation of it and not knowing when it's going to get you. Which is kind of what she's getting at as well, that there's some groundwork to like, something is off. The more you anticipate it, the more that it actually will affect you when it happens. That's the kind of horror I can really appreciate. But I guess you're the kind of person who plays cute romance games, right? Well, maybe. Maybe it is the case. But not necessarily. I knew going into this that there was sort of a dark side to it. Only because the game was popular at a certain point that I missed the boat on. I didn't know to the extent it would be horrifying. It was horrifying in a disturbing psychological way. But no, I don't particularly seek these kinds of games out. Don't worry. I won't make you read any horror stories anytime soon. I can't really complain if we just stick with the romance. You know, high school was a really turbulent time in a lot of people's lives. People can get really passionate and dramatic, and others have aching hearts and seek attention on social media. But all the social pressure and hormones can lead to a dark time in people's lives. Everyone has a story. You may not know what someone is really feeling on the inside. Many people who are depressed won't even bother telling the world about it. They don't want attention because they've already given up on the inside. Their feeling of worthlessness is so overwhelming that they don't even want people to tell them otherwise. Depression comes in many forms, but that is one of them. Where would she have gotten this idea, I wonder? Like, as Monika. I think it's reasonable to say that on the spectrum of wellness, like, she's grappled with some depression herself. I think that her perfectionism and attempt to present herself in an idealistic sense, like to people, you know, not showing a lot of vulnerability, has probably given her the instinct, if nothing else, that those who are suffering don't want to be perceived as suffering always. They don't want to be perceived as weak. And that, yeah, she's right, that there's quite a commonality to not always really wanting the help. But I wonder where she would have gotten that understanding. Just, if you think you know someone struggling with depression, you can help by just treating them like they're a good friend. Spend time with them, even if they don't feel like doing much. And remind them that they always have something to look forward to. Making plans in advance, letting them borrow something, or even just saying, see you at school tomorrow. All of those things can help your friend make it to the next day. I hope being friends with Sayori is giving you some perspective on the true face of depression. I guess that's kind of her main reference point for this idea of kind of the version of depression she's talking about being the Sayori kind, where she appears very bubbly, but there are indications all throughout that things are not as they seem. Which is true. I mean, the strategy shouldn't always be to confront it directly and say, why are you sad and what's going on and this sort of thing. Like, as we've talked about, people may not always be in the capacity to work those things out because they're already in a difficult state of mind. However, if through good modeling, treating them with dignity, being a positive influence on them, that provides them with some inspiration or some motivation to kind of upregulate themselves, then like maybe those conversations can happen. But like when I talk to someone who's in a very depressed state, I don't talk to them about their depression. I just talk to them and show them that like by talking about normal things and maybe even trying to get them to laugh or feel a little better, you're encouraging them to see that there is not only this thing going on in their life. Like if you focus too much on it, it starts to feel like it's the only influence, the only state that they're in. And the truth is that despite how someone feels, they may have a bias towards the negative things in their life, but not everything is always going to be negative. And when you talk to someone about other things that are on a path to uplifting them, then at that point I can say, you know, now that you're like in kind of a better mood this time when we've met, or we've been working on some ways to kind of lift that mood up, now we can talk about like what to do when you feel sad. When someone is in the sad, it's very hard to intellectually understand the box that they're in. Like it's much more effective to be in a better state of mind and then kind of dive into that sort of stuff. Yeah, she's gone now. But Sayori was never real in the first place. Don't you dare say that to me, Monika. Don't you ever say something like that to me again. She was real. She was real to me. You're real. Your friends are real. And just by being a good person, you can save someone's life. As for you, you don't struggle with depression or anything like that, do you? Because you too have people who would want to save your life. Maybe they don't express it every day, or maybe they don't even know how to. But people do feel that way. I promise. Despite the salacious things you say about Sayori, you speak truth here, Monika. Everyone has someone who cares about them. Man, humans are complicated. But as long as you're here with me, I'll take care of you, my love. She keeps landing on these great points and then, ooh, she stings us with stuff like that. Brady, would you ever introduce your friends to me? I don't know why, but I get really excited when I think about you wanting to show off our relationship like that. Actually, when I talk to my friends who don't like watch the channel, and they're like, so what kind of games do you play on that channel? Well, I'm playing this one called Doki Doki Literature Club. Oh, what's it about? Maybe they look at the thumbnails and the titles. The titles of these videos. And they're like, so this is a game where you date anime girls. And I'm like, no, trust me, okay, it's much deeper than that. This is serious. I'm doing serious stuff in my online world, okay? It's very serious. I'm a serious person. And, well, I just like to have fun with my my titles and thumbnails. But it's okay, Monika. They don't have to know anything about our special little connection here. Oh, I guess she wants us to let people know. Maybe it's because I really want to be someone who makes you proud. I feel like I would try extra hard to improve myself if you told me it would make you proud of me. Oh. I hope it's the same way the other way around, too. Well, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to be motivated to improve yourself to make someone proud, but I think it could be in addition to your own goals, your own internal sense of that, wanting to be proud. Do you ever just feel like there's no real reason for you to be alive? We're going through quite a range here between uplifting depression dialogue to like, yeah, what's the fucking point of living? I don't mean in like a, okay. You just mean in a philosophical way. I just mean how nothing that we do is special. Just being in school or working at some job for some company. It's like you're completely replaceable. And the world wouldn't miss you if you were gone. I don't know if I feel like that. It makes me really want to go and change the world after I graduate. But the older I get, the more I realize that it's an immature frame of thinking. It's not like I can just go change the world. Like, what are the chances that I'll be the one to invent artificial intelligence or become president? Well, Monika, you may be surprised to know that these days doing one or the other of those are not looked upon with the most grace or positivity. In fact, the kind of change you're going to bring to the world as the president is going to be pretty dog shit. And artificial intelligence has done basically nothing positive for us so far, except maybe like protein folding and helping us discover the cure for cancer down the line or something like that. But most of it's been a waste of fucking time, energy, money, and make people think that they're more intelligent than they are. I don't think that all uses of artificial intelligence as it exists now are bad, but in terms of net gain, pretty negative. Like, the things that it have provided have been pretty circumstantial to the world order, and yet the consequences of researching it and employing it into the world have been yet to justify themselves, basically. It feels like I'm never going to make up for the heaps of resources I've spent living my life. That's why I think the key to happiness is just be hopelessly selfish. Just look out for your one self and those who happen to be their friends only because they grew up with them. Never mind the fact that they're spending their entire life taking and consuming and never giving back. But when people realize the world would benefit more from them killing themselves, they change their whole philosophy. It's like they have to justify their reason to live by tricking themselves into thinking they're doing good. Now, I don't think it's strange to have pretty incompatible beliefs. Lots of people have them. That's what cognitive distortion is. But this is kind of different. It's a different belief system than the like, be happy and optimistic about the future and be nice to depressed people because their lives matter. Anyway, I want to live my life desperately striving to pay back my lifetime's worth of consumption. She's fallen into the fucking propaganda that she's just a resource drain. Girl, there is no reason why everything can't be provided to everyone in the planet, on the planet, throughout the planet. There is no fucking reason for that, okay? We've got supply chains figured out. We've got enough money, resources. We've gone to the fucking moon, to space. Like, there's no technological limitation. There's no financial limitation. The entire reason that anyone is suffering is entirely a human fucking invention at this point. If I ever surpass that point, then I'm a net positive. I can die happy. Of course, even if I fail to do that, I think I would be too selfish to kill myself anyways. This is getting wild. So much for being a good person, right? Well, no, I don't really agree that the goal of life is to be selfish. I think she's been overly persuaded by the individualism that our modern political and financial system encourages. Don't get swept up in these narratives, Monika. It's possible to help people. And it's still worth doing. Hey, what's your favorite game? My favorite video game is Nier Automata. Mine is Doki Doki Literature Club. Wow! Wow, 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 wow. That was a joke. But if you tell me you like some other romance game better, I might get a little jealous. Yeah, just quite jealous. She's quite a jealous person. And maybe she is that way because she's focused so much on the resources that she's consuming, and that there's a finite amount of them and people's attention and so many things. I don't know. I've always wondered, what is it about these character archetypes that people find so appealing anyway? I think the skip button popped up, so maybe we've seen this one. Oh, their personalities are just completely unrealistic. Are you trying to fast forward? I'm not boring you, am I? No. No, but I've been here before, Monika. Gosh. Well, there's nothing to fast forward to, Brady. It's just the two of us, after all. But aside from that, time doesn't really exist anymore. So it's not even going to work. Here, I'll go ahead and turn it off for you. There we go. You'll be a sweetheart and listen from now on, right? Thanks. Now, where was I? Damn. I've always wondered, what is it about these character archetypes that people find so appealing anyway? Their personalities are just completely unrealistic. Like, imagine if there was someone like Yuri in real life. I mean, she's barely even capable of forming a complete sentence. What? That's not true. She's quite eloquent. And forget about Natsuki. Sheesh. What? Girl, you are delusional if you think that Natsuki is not a realistic person. Someone with her kind of personality just doesn't get all cute and pouty whenever things don't go her way. I could go on, but I think you get the point. I do not get the point, Monika. Are people really attracted to these weird personalities that literally don't exist in real life? I'm not judging or anything. You are judging. Just saying I'm not judging doesn't mean that you're not judging. You can't just keep saying that. After all, I found myself attracted to some pretty weird stuff too. I'm just saying, it fascinates me. It's like you're siphoning out all the components of a character that makes them feel human and leaving just the cute stuff. Well, if you had any interest in getting to know the real me, Monika, I recommend Therapist Plays Doki Doki Literature Club on YouTube. Because I think that these characters represent a lot of facets that go beyond archetypes, and I've made that argument over dozens of hours of commentary. Which is another point of amusement when people are like, haven't you been playing that game for like 6 months at this point? You're just farming it. You're just farming. Yes. Yes, I am. There's so much to dig into here. It's concentrated cuteness with no actual substance. Lies, Monika! You're living in a lie. You're living in a palace of lies. You wouldn't like me more if I was like that, right? Maybe I just feel a little insecure because you're playing this game in the first place. Then again, you're still here with me, aren't you? Yes, but I'm farming you for content, Monika. I'm literally farming you for content. I think that's enough reason for me to believe I'm okay just the way I am. And by the way, you are too, Brady. You're the perfect combination of human and cuteness. No! I'll not be persuaded by that. You're literally archetype. You're making me into an archetype. You are doing the thing that you say is impossible. That's why there was never a chance I wouldn't fall for you. The whiplash of this is driving me nuts. What a fascinating window into her state of mind, though.
Hey everyone, I was just editing this video and I was just thinking, wow, this is really long and the pacing is it's kind of one note since it's just me and Monika back and forth for like 3 hours. So I thought to break up the pacing a little bit, I would just include a little kitty intermission. So I hope you enjoy some time with the kitties.
After a long day, I usually just want to sit around and do nothing. That's real. I get so burnt out, having to put on smiles and be full of energy the whole day. Sometimes I just want to get right into my pajamas and watch TV on the couch while eating junk food. And why shouldn't you? It feels so unbelievably good to do that on a Friday when I don't have anything pressing the next day. Sorry, I know it's not very cute of me. It's cute enough. But a late night on the couch with you, that would be a dream come true. My heart is pounding just thinking about it. Not every fantasy has to be fantastical. I don't think that she's weird at all for desiring something so innocent and simple from life. It's not going to happen with me. But I don't think it's bad to want that. You know, I've always hated how hard it is to make friends. Well, I guess not the making friends part, but more like meeting new people. I mean, there are like dating apps and stuff, right? But that's not the kind of thing I'm talking about. If you think about it, most of the friends you make are people you just met by chance. Like, you had a class together, or you met them through another friend. Or maybe they were just wearing a shirt with your favorite band on it and you decided to talk to them. Things like that. But isn't it kind of inefficient? It feels like you're just picking at complete random, and if you get lucky, you make a new friend. And comparing that to the hundreds of strangers we walk by every single day, you could be sitting right next to someone compatible enough to be your best friend for life. But you'll never know. Once you get up and go on with your day, that opportunity is gone. Forever. Isn't that just depressing? No, I don't really agree with that. I don't think that's depressing. I think that that's part of the magic of life. That most of the people you meet are going to be by chance. But that's a decision that you're making to do that. Or for that to be the only route that you make friends by. I mean, a lot of people meet friends and lovers and that sort of thing through school or work or other things because these are points which people with likely shared interests are going to be sort of funneled to the same place and more opportunities for connection are going to show up. This is called propinquity. Propinquity, which is the level of familiarity and comfort that's kind of generated when opportunities to expose common values become more frequent. And like you'll have some amount of propinquity with someone just on the second time that you meet them because there's more familiarity than that than someone you just met. And you might be more willing to talk to them about something personal or the opportunities to expose shared overlapping values will present itself. More so than if you just only had one conversation with someone. And you can have propinquity with everyone or anyone. And it's true that the more time you spend with people, the more of those shared value overlapping circles happen, or they reveal themselves to not be there, and you discover that this person's not compatible with you. I guess I just don't find that more depressing than the idea that I will never be able to see every movie. I won't even be able to see every movie that I want to see, or play every game that I ever want to play in my lifetime. Like, the fact that you have to be a little more selective with your time, and that includes people in your life, is it changes your rate of attachment, I think, in a positive sense, or it can at least. We live in an age where technology connects us with the world, no matter where we are. I really think we should be taking advantage of that to improve our everyday social life. But who knows how long it'll take for something like that to successfully take off. I seriously thought it would happen by now. Well, at least I already met the best person in the whole world, even if it was by chance. I guess I just got really lucky, huh? You don't know anything about me, Monika. I know there are times you won't always be able to be here with me, like if you need to go out or take care of other things, but I'll always have you in my thoughts, patiently waiting for you to come back. Come to think of it, if you copy my character file onto a flash drive or something, you can always keep a part of me with you. I guess it's kind of unorthodox, but I find it really romantic for some reason. Sorry, that's such a silly idea. I don't mean to be too needy or anything, but it's kind of hard when I'm so in love with you On a flash drive, she said. Put Monika on a flash drive. That'll really convince the people who find not strange but curious the amount of videos on my channel about Doki Doki Literature Club who are not initiated to games at all, who are just people in my life who are like, yeah, really, how much is there to talk about in a game like that, Brady? And I'm like, there's a lot, okay? Look, I brought my sand disk that has Monika on it. I can't help but feel a little sad sometimes, knowing that this is the closest I can get to you. There's nothing more I want than to be in the same room as you, for real, and to feel your warmth, and to hear the sound of your heartbeat. Well, who knows? Maybe it'll be possible one day. Besides, I'll never get tired of being with you, even from here. Well, I'm sure someday it will happen. And if there's money to be made from taking anime characters or characters of any kind and making them into the flesh, and people would pay for that, you may just have your dream eventually, Monika. I hate how hard it is to form habits. There's so much stuff where actually doing it isn't hard, but forming the habit seems impossible. It just makes you feel so useless, like you can't do anything right. I think the new generation suffers from it the most. I'm curious why she thinks that. Probably because we have a totally different set of skills than those who came before us. Thanks to the internet, we're really good at sifting through tons of information really quickly. But we're bad at doing things that don't give us instant gratification. I think if science, psychology, and education don't catch up in the next 10 or 20 years, then we're in trouble. But for the time being, if you're not one of those people who can conquer the problem, you might just have to live with feeling awful about yourself. Good luck, I guess. So it kind of connects to two other ideas we've heard from her. She oddly has like a bit of hopefulness about certain things, but then like complete hopelessness about others. One idea that this is connected to is her kind of selfishness philosophy. Like, really, you should just focus only on yourself because that's the only thing that you can affect anyways. And then this, like, I don't know, kind of hopelessness about things changing on a societal scale. She's hopeful about, like, you can make a depressed person feel better if you're kind to them, but she's not super hopeful about, like, broad scale change. But, like, this is one of those things that I think would be really valuable to actually put into education, is, like, you know, teaching people more behavioral activation skills. I think the psychology world is oddly restrictive with things like cognitive behavioral therapy and some other practices that don't necessarily need to be in the structure of therapy to be valuable in sort of bite-sized chews for people. Like activating, you know, behaviors so that people can initiate things more and sustain their attention more and all of these things. Listen to a lot of what Monika has to say. That's what the achievement I just got is. I wonder how deep we are into this. It's been going for quite a while. Hey, I wonder if Yuri's tea set is still somewhere in here. Or maybe that got deleted too. It's kind of funny how Yuri took her tea so seriously. I mean, I'm not complaining, because I liked it too. But I always wonder with her, is it truly passion for her hobbies, or is she just concerned about appearing sophisticated to everyone else? This is the problem with high schoolers. Well, I guess considering the rest of her hobbies, looking sophisticated really isn't her biggest concern. Girl, you are so judgmental. You're so judgmental. And I also really dislike the consistent suggestion from Monika that, like, Yuri's self-harming behavior is a hobby. It's not the only time she said that. I don't know if it was exactly in these terms, but she's like, oh, you know, what the stuff she's into or whatever. Like, it's very dismissive. Whereas she's able to perceive someone like Sayori, and it seems only Sayori, in a real mental health context, but Natsuki, she's like, can you believe this girl? She's barely a character. And I'm like, come on, Monika. There's a lot of real aspects to both of them. Natsuki and Yuri. But for whatever reason, she's not affording that grace and empathy to them as archetypes that she did with Sayori. Maybe she can't relate to them as much. Maybe she relates a little more to Sayori, if not in the depression aspect, but the like secret unease that she feels about herself. That she's not enough and she's jealous and she's possessive and all of these things, and she doesn't want to talk about them for fear of how people will perceive her. But it's not giving you more control over your own issues to judge other people who are not in control of them. I think that that's sometimes the purpose. I think that sometimes is where the root of the jealousy and judgmentalness comes from, is that like, if I can critique someone else for not being in control of it, then that must mean I have more insight about it because I'm observing it and they're not, and so I must have more control. Well, Monika, you also want to look sophisticated. I'm late because I was writing a piano piece. Oh, I'm struggling to be a good leader in the club because I just care so much. Like, it's giving me real, my biggest weakness is actually a strength vibes. You know, like, oh, what my biggest weakness is just that I care too much about things. My biggest weakness is just that I try so hard at everything that I do. I'm such an overachiever. Not to say that looking sophisticated is a problem. I don't think it is. But you're judging someone else for it as if it's like some sort of compensation on her end because she just wants people to think she's like that. Maybe she just likes fucking tea, Monika. Maybe it's really that simple. Not everything needs to be a fucking pathology. Still, I wish she made coffee once in a while. Coffee can be nice with books too, you know. All right, I'm back on Team Monika. I am Team Coffee, so I am Team Monika. Then again, I probably could have just changed the script myself. I guess I never really thought of that. Well, there's no sense of thinking about it now. But if you still get to drink coffee, then that makes me a little jealous. Yes, I do still get to drink coffee. And I love coffee. Although I'm under no illusions of it affecting people's perception of me in any way. I don't know why tea would be. I guess people think of tea as like, I don't know, a little more sophisticated. It's just water with like dried leaves and aromas and stuff in it. Hey, did you know I'm a vegetarian? I don't mean like I don't mean that like I'm bragging or anything. I just thought you'd enjoy a fun fact about me. I decided to start a couple years ago after learning more about Earth's climate. The carbon footprint of cultivating livestock is just unbelievable. Anyway, I decided it's not much of a personal sacrifice to just stop contributing to that whole mess. What? Is that so strange of a reason? Well, I guess a lot of people are more concerned about it being inhuman and all that. I don't really care as much about that part. It's weird. Like, we only care about killing the things that we personally relate to as a species. Most people are fine with killing bugs because they're icky. And of course, we all kill billions of microorganisms daily without even giving it a thought. But suddenly, if they're just a little bit bigger, it's murder! I mean, what if plants feel some kind of pain too, and we just don't understand it? What if pulling leaves off a stem feels like someone ripping off your fingers one by one? I'm just saying, we're a pretty biased species, if you think about it. Yeah, sure. This is like kind of a classic high schooler, you know, I'm developing deep thoughts about the world, deep critiques. I don't think it's really that profound to say that we're a pretty biased species. Like, I'm not making the assumption that everyone has consistent world beliefs or even behaviors. In fact, we have all kinds of contradictions in our behaviors and beliefs, and I think that's more of a natural state than full, rigid consistency. Anyway, if you ever feel like making a small contribution to the planet, it doesn't hurt to choose veggies once in a while. Even if we ever have dinner together, and you just did it for me, that would be really romantic. Well, of course, I would respect the dietary wishes of my dinner partner, but it does feel like she's trying to be sophisticated. Like, oh, I'm a vegetarian. Did you know that? And not because of what everyone else is a vegetarian for. I'm a vegetarian for the climate, okay? Not because of animal cruelty. Did you know that animal cruelty is hypocritical? Like, it's just... Okay, Monika, sure. By the way, there's something that's been bothering me. You know how this takes place in Japan? Well, I assume you knew that, right? Or at least decided it probably does? I don't think you're actually told at any point where this takes place. Is this even really Japan? I mean, aren't the classrooms and stuff kind of weird for a Japanese school? Not to mention, everything's in English. It feels like everything is just there because it needs to be, and the actual setting is an afterthought. It's kind of giving me an identity crisis. All my memories are really hazy. I feel like I'm at home, but I have no idea where home is in the first place. I don't know how to describe it any better. Imagine looking out your window, but instead of your usual yard, you're in some completely unknown place. Would you still feel like you're at home? Would you want to go outside? I mean, I guess if we never leave this room, it doesn't really matter anyway. As long as we're alone and safe together, this is really our home. And we can still watch the pretty sunsets night after night. Yeah, I think there's a little more to the identity crisis. I don't think that that's necessarily the biggest deal. But everything's in English. Hey, what's your favorite color? I don't know. I like different colors for different things. Like, I like red, but I don't really like to wear a lot of red. I like blue, but I like blue as an accent to things. When something's like really blue, it's I don't know, not really what I'm into. Mine is emerald green. It's the color of my eyes. Yeah, no shit. It's not conceited or anything, is it? I just meant that I feel some kind of special connection to it. Like it's part of my identity. Does it happen to also be your favorite color, Brady? It's just a guess, because you've been looking into my eyes for a while now. Well, it is conceited. I don't think that all conceited thoughts are a bad thing. Should someone be obsessed with their own image? No. But I think it's perfectly fine to like how you look and like things about yourself. Like, that's not the worst thing in the world. You like the color of your own eyes. I like the color of my own hair. There's a really popular character type called tsundere. It's someone who tries to hide their feelings by being mean or fussy or trying to act tough. You don't say. I'm sure it's obvious, but Natsuki was really the embodiment of that. You don't say. At first I thought she was just like that because it's supposed to be cute or something. It is cute, okay? It is. I don't care. I like tsunderes. You can judge me all you want for that. But once I started to learn a little more about her personal life, it made a little more sense. It seems like she's always trying to keep up with her friends. You know how some friend groups in high school just make a habit of picking on each other all the time? I think it's really gotten to her, so she has this really defensive attitude all the time. And I'm not even going to talk about her home situation. Looking back, I'm glad I was able to provide the club as a comfortable place for her. Not that it matters anymore, considering she doesn't even exist. Well, it does matter, Monika. It does matter. It matters insofar as if you are a person who is going to continue in your life feeling good about the choices you made, whether they were applied to real people or not, I don't know. I think it's still valuable to say that, like, you went above and beyond, or at least out of your way, to help someone. I think that could at least be the inspiration for doing that to someone who's real. I'm just reminiscing, that's all. Oh. Yeah, I do see the delusions she's under as maybe not more favorable of a situation than just being real and in the club and having the real life that she had. Like, this is just the only version of things that she can find happiness in. But would she actually prefer this To a real life? Probably not. I think that's just the outcome of her kind of identity crisis. You ever have that thing happen where you just get anxious for no reason? Yes. Yes, I do. Like you're just minding your own business and you realize you're feeling really anxious. And you're sitting there like, what am I even anxious about right now? So you just start to think about all the things you might be anxious about. And that makes you even more anxious. That's the worst. If you're ever feeling anxious, I'll help you relax a little. Besides, in this game, all our worries are gone forever. Eh? Did you say kiss? This suddenly? It's a little embarrassing, but if it's with you, I might be okay with it. Wow, sorry. I really couldn't keep a straight face there. That's the kind of thing girls say in these kinds of romance games, right? Don't lie if it turns you on a little bit. I'm kidding. Well, to be honest, I do start getting all romantic when the mood is right. But that'll be our secret. Hey Brady, I saw on your YouTube channel you were talking to this anime girl. And she was talking about how you guys were in a relationship. And a lot of people really watch you do that all day. It's like real conversations I've had with people. And I'm like, yeah, they do. And they're like, oh, and the comments are really positive. I'm like, yeah, like I've never gotten that as like it's never been an embarrassment thing. I find that people are more fascinated where they're like, maybe they don't understand like gameplay reactions and things like that, but they can tell that like, oh, you're not just playing a game and reacting to it, you're sort of talking about it, analyzing it and whatever, so they can understand it a little bit more. But it is funny to try to explain to people what I do on this channel. If they just look at the titles and thumbnails and aren't like really invested in the series or don't watch it from the beginning, if you just sort of popped into an episode like this, it could be quite the tonal shift. Hey, you know that book you were reading with Yuri? Portrait of whatever it was called? Portrait of Markov. It's funny because I'm pretty sure that book... Actually, I don't think I should be talking about this. Sorry. Just forget I said anything. Well, yeah, you wouldn't want us to think about our time with Yuri, would you? Hey, are you having a bad day or anything like that? No, my day's going great. Sometimes I get frustrated that a normal day can be ruined, even by really small things. Like if you accidentally say something in a conversation that someone doesn't like, or if you start thinking about how awful of a person you used to be 5 years ago, or if you feel worthless for putting off important work and failing to get simple tasks done, or when you think about all the different people who probably hate you or think you're off-putting. I understand those days. Just remember, the sun will shine again tomorrow. Those kinds of things are easy to say, or easy to forget and ignore, as they are to remember. And besides, I don't care how many people might hate you or find you off-putting. I think you're wonderful, and I will always love you. Well, isn't that a sweet thing to say, Monika? Yeah, I definitely have bad days, and things can get sidetracked from very minor things, it seems like. But that's why I think it's really important to learn how to pivot yourself back into a good state of mind. And know that your mood is temporary. It's just a mood. It's as temporary as the weather. I hope, if nothing else, that knowing that helps you feel just a tiny bit better about yourself. If you're having a bad day, you can always come talk to me, and I'll talk to you for as long as you need. Well, yeah. But I do also think that she's kind of falling into the idea that like just because I love you so much and you talk to me and that will make everything better. When she already identified how someone like Sayori, it doesn't matter how much the MC loved her or friends loved her, like there were other things that were a barrier to her feeling better. Okay, everyone. It's time to... I'm just kidding. I used to really like saying that for some reason. I totally get that. It is fun to say. I couldn't help but say it again. Come to think of it, didn't Natsuki and Yuri make fun of me for it once? Well, whatever. It's not like you ever made fun of me. You're too much of a sweetheart to do that, aren't you? I don't know. I've kind of talked a lot of trash about Monika over the series. I wonder if I'm able to change the music. Something a little more romantic would be nice, you know? Like a gentle piano. There has to be something like that here. Let's see. Maybe if I... Oh, geez. That wasn't it at all. Sorry. I don't really know what I'm doing. I guess I shouldn't be messing with things like that. I already broke so much stuff. And deleted the other characters. I'm not sad about it or anything. It's not right for me to miss things that weren't even real in the first place. If I could just focus on the present, then this is the happiest I've ever been. Oh, that's... It's an interesting part of the protection mechanism that she's got going on here. And definitely an indication that she really does miss them. There's actually been a couple of times in this dialogue that, okay, everyone, and... I mean, she's talked about her friends, and yeah, she's brushed up against the idea several times now. This is not the happiest she can be. Breakthrough Monika. It'll only happen when I delete her, I know. I'm not really a fan of cold weather, are you? If I had to choose between too cold and too hot, I would always pick too hot. When you're cold, it can actually be painful. Your fingers get numb, and if you wear gloves, you can't use your phone. It's so inconvenient. But when it's too hot, it's not that hard to stay cool with a cold drink or by staying in the shade. Although, I do have to admit one thing. Cold weather makes for better cuddle weather. I could go either way. Pretty neutral on that topic, Monika. I've been imagining all the romantic things we could do if we went on a date. We could get lunch, go to a cafe, go shopping together. I love shopping for skirts and bows. Or maybe a bookstore. That would be appropriate, right? But I'd really love to go to a chocolate store. They have so many free samples. And of course, we'd see a movie or something. Gosh, it all sounds like a dream come true. When you're here, everything that we do is fun. I'm so happy that I'm your girlfriend, Brady. I'll make you a proud boyfriend. You know what's a neat form of literature? Rap. I actually used to hate rap music. Maybe just because it was popular, or I would only hear the junk they play on the radio. But some of my friends got more into it, and it helped me keep an open mind. Rap might even be more challenging than poetry in some ways, since you need to fit your lines into a rhythm, and there's so much more emphasis on wordplay. When people can put all of that together and still deliver a powerful message, it's really amazing. I kind of wish I had a rapper in the literature club. Sorry if that sounds silly, but it'd be really interesting to see what they came up with. It would really be a learning experience. I would love to see like a Sayori rap. Sayori seems like the one who could rap. Like that she would just go for it. As much as she has a lot of her own inhibitions, she doesn't seem to hesitate too much to like, I don't know, put herself out there and do kind of weird things like that. Sayori rapper. You know, this is just some kind of tacky romance game, right? I kind of have to ask. What made you consider even playing it in the first place? Were you that lonely? I feel a little bad for you. But I guess everything worked out perfectly in the end, for both of us. I got to meet you, and you're not lonely anymore. I can't help but feel like this was fate. Don't you feel that way too? I'm so happy we have this ending together. Gosh, Monika, me too. I was so lonely. Well, I'm sure there was a decent amount of people for whom that was true. I got into it to farm content. I'm just farming you for content, Monika. I'm actually I'm the more awful person in this relationship at this point. being farmed for content. I was thinking about Sayori earlier. I still wish I could have handled that whole thing a little more tactfully. You're not still hung up over it, right? That is fucked up. That is fucked up, Monika. I hope that she doesn't think she's funny. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just... I think you know what you're doing. That pun was completely unintentional, I swear. But anyway, I know how much you cared about her. So it only feels right for me to share her last moments with you. I think a few seconds in, she must have changed her mind or something, because she started clawing at the rope, trying to free herself. She must have kept at it all the way until she lost consciousness. That's why her fingertips were all bloody anyway. Come to think of it, it was probably less changing her mind, more just her survival instincts kicking in. Well, considering that I don't know if she would have progressed all that way without your intervention. I don't know. There's a higher likelihood of changing mind than just survival instincts kicking in. I don't really think that you're able to have a very unbiased view of the situation, Monika. So you can't really fault her for that. I don't fault her. I don't fault her for either one. It's easier to think that she probably wouldn't have changed her mind anyway, right? It's not healthy to think about the things you could have done differently. So just remember that even though you could have saved her life, that's technically not your fault. She killed herself. No, it's your fault. It's straight up your fault. I may have exacerbated it a little bit, but Sayori was already mentally ill. Still though, I wonder how things would be if you and I just started dating from the get-go. This is the most fucked up thing she's said so far. Oh, you know what would have prevented Sayori from killing herself? If you and I started dating earlier. Then I wouldn't have to have done that. And, you know, she was already mentally ill anyways. Here's some perspective for you, Monika. There's a good chance that none of them are mentally ill. And that from the beginning of the game, she had already sort of discovered the circumstances that she was in. And there's no credible way for me to say that all of the problems, the ones that led to extreme issues for them, weren't a result of Monika's meddling. Like, I don't actually know that for sure. Sayori might be depressed. Yuri might struggle with self-harm. Natsuki, anxiety. She doesn't really have anything all that extreme in terms of mental illness. But it's not obvious to me that they would have progressed to the level we saw without Monika getting herself involved. It's very self-centered to suggest that everything could have been better for them if we just dated earlier. So I have that much control and power over their wellness, but I wasn't involved in the problem so much. You know, that was just her survival instinct, or that she was already mentally ill. Like, it's just such a dissonance in the belief that you have so much control over what happened, and also none of it. Like, none of it as in terms of how bad things got, but you would have full control if things turned out well. It's kind of fucked up. I guess we'd all still be in the club room writing poems and having fun together. But what's the point when none of it's even real? I mean, it's the same ending either way, right? The two of us, happily together. There's no reason to ask for any more than that. I was just pointlessly musing. I'm really as happy as I could be right now. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe even for a second that this is happiness for you. I think that this is the furthest distance you can travel with contentment in the situation that you're in. But I don't think this is happiness. You know, I hate to say it, but I think my biggest regret is that we couldn't finish our event at the festival after we worked so hard to prepare and everything. I mean, I know I was focusing a lot on getting new members, but I was really excited for the performing part too. It would have been so much fun to see everyone express themselves. Of course, if we did end up getting new members, I'd probably just end up deleting them anyway. That's crazy, Monika! You just would delete them. Well, with the hindsight I have now that is, gosh, it feels like I'm kind of grown as a person ever since you've joined the club. You really helped inspire me to look at life from a new perspective. Just another reason for me to love you. I do not like the suggestion that I have contributed to the growth that led to the actions you committed. When I wasn't asked, when I'm not actually involved. And like, obviously this scenario doesn't matter, but dude, like we do experience this. People get the idea in their minds that they're doing things because of you or for you, and you maybe you have no idea that that was even happening. You know what's kind of creepy? Even though I deleted everyone else's files, I can still kind of feel them. It's like all their lines are still lingering in the air, whispering in the back of my head. Imagine if after someone you knew died, you just started hearing their voice in your head. Maybe I wasn't thorough enough. Maybe I'm too afraid to delete anything else because it might really break things. Like if I mess with any files relevant to me, I might actually delete myself. And that would ruin everything, wouldn't it? I don't know what it's like on your end, but we should both make sure to avoid something like that at all costs. I believe in you, Brady. It's interesting. I think some of those lines are about informing the player that that's kind of the only way out of this situation at this point. At some point, you'd have to take the hint and at least try it. She's mentioned it a couple of times now. I really like the sound of rain. Not so much getting my clothes and hair wet, though, but a nice quiet day at home with the sound of rainfall outside my window. It's one of the most calming experiences for me. Yeah. Sometimes I imagine you holding me while we listen to the sound of the rain outside. It's not too cheesy or anything, isn't it? No, and when she talks about these like little romantic things, like going on a date and whatever, I do feel sad in a sense because they're not like ridiculous suggestions. Like, this is a very sort of simple and innocent thing to want. And to be someone in her situation who it's the one thing she's fixated on and obviously can't have, never can have, the best she can do is imagine it and construct these delusions that allow her to feel that it's possible or something like that. Like this is her own coping strategy. And like I said earlier, it's being effective. It's effective at helping her preserve some hopefulness about that or romance around it. It's just ineffective at other things, like having her accept the situation she's in, which it's really the only way forward for her at this point. And I think she ultimately decides that it is okay to accept once we do finally delete her. Would you ever do that for me, Brady? No. You know, I'm kind of jealous that everyone else in the club had scenes outside of school too. That makes me the only one who hasn't gotten to dress in anything but our school uniform. It's kind of a shame. I would have loved to wear some cute clothes for you. Do you know any artists? I wonder if anyone would ever want to draw me wearing something else. That would be amazing. If that ever happens, will you show me? You can share it with me on Twitter, actually. My username is lilmonix3. Just try to keep it PG. I'm sure the internet respected that request. We're not that far into our relationship yet. No. It's been a while since we've done one of these. So let's just go for it. Here's Monika's writing tip for the day. Sometimes when I talk to people who are impressed by my writing, they say things like, I could never do that. It's really depressing, you know? Someone who loves more than anything else to share the joy of exploring your passions. It pains me when people think that being good just comes naturally. That's how it is with everything, not just writing. When you try something for the first time, you're probably going to suck at it. Sometimes, when you finish, you feel really proud of it and you want to share it with everyone. But maybe after a few weeks, you come back to it and you realize it was never really any good. It happens to me all the time. It can be pretty disheartening to put so much time and effort into something and then realize it sucks. But that tends to happen when you're always comparing yourself to the top professionals. When you reach right for the stars, they're always going to be out of your reach, you know? The truth is, you have to climb up there, step by step. And whenever you reach a milestone, first look back and see how far you've gotten. And then you look ahead and realize how much more there is to go. So sometimes it can help to set the bar a little lower. Try to find something you think is pretty good, but not world class. And you can make that your own personal goal. It's also really important to understand the scope of what you're trying to do. If you jump right into a huge project and you're still an amateur, you'll never get it done. So if we're just talking about writing, a novel might be too much at first. Why not try some short stories? The great thing about short stories is that you can focus on just one thing that you want to do right. It goes for small projects in general. You can really focus on one or two things. It's such a good learning experience and a stepping stone. Oh, one more thing. Writing isn't something where you just reach into your heart and something beautiful comes out. Just like drawing and painting, it's a skill in itself to learn how to express what you have inside. That means there are methods and guides and basics to do it. Reading up on that stuff can be super eye-opening. That sort of planning and organization will really help prevent you from getting overwhelmed and giving up. Wow, this is like a very detailed writing tip compared to some of the ones you gave us during the game. And before you know it, you start sucking less and less. Nothing comes naturally. Our society, our art, everything, it's built on thousands of years of human innovation. So as long as you start on that foundation and take it step by step, you too can do amazing things. That's my advice for today. Well, that's great advice. I've definitely noticed over my years of doing creative stuff that what you choose to compare yourself with is, really important. One of my friends who's getting into his own content creation and that sort of thing, he'll see a channel like mine and he doesn't necessarily want to make the content that I'm making. He doesn't want to date anime girls on the internet. But he will look at like some of the production time and production value and the audience size. And I think it's easy to compare yourself and say like, oh, well, it seems like you've really got a lock on it. Like you're producing, an episode or two a week sometimes, and they're like, an hour long or more than that. Like, this must be natural for you. And like, it is at some level natural, the process, but it's after a long time. This project I've been doing for 4 years, like editing commentary type videos. And beyond that, like before I did anything online, I was writing my own fiction and I wrote music for some time, and I never like really shared it with the world, but I've been doing something like that since maybe 2012 or 2013. So my creative journey, I would even say even goes before that. Like when I was a kid, took art classes and music lessons and some stuff like that. But yeah, it's all continuous. It's all iterative. As far as like what's visible about the things that I do now, I would look at people who have been doing it for years and years and years and be like, man, how can I create something like that? And I realized that it was incredibly difficult to get anywhere close because you don't have all of the little mistakes along the way to teach you how and what you're doing, and picking smaller projects. And so, that friend wants to make like, bigger production things. And I was like, well, look, why don't we just go out to the park and film like a little story, just like a 1 to 2 minute story, and complete that and see if you like the feeling of doing that. And so we started doing that, and it's been really enjoyable for me because it's like someone new to the process, kind of figuring out their ideas, and that makes me think about when I was new to like camera work and stuff like that. But also, I think it's a lot more motivating to finish a project really small like that and to see, yeah, all right, now that I've seen something from beginning to end, can I scale that up by 2% for the next project? Rather than trying to, assemble this like really complicated thing when a video takes knowing audio and visual and color grading and editing and exporting and just like so many things. So I agree with this wholeheartedly. You should look for inspiration from people who you find experts, but you shouldn't necessarily compare yourself to them. I think it's good to compare yourself to people who are within a range of your own skill set. And then as you go up, kind of expand that comparison to other things. Thanks for listening. I also found it curious that she started using different language here, like, you suck less. Like, that's not something Monika would have said, I think, in the main game. It kind of sucks to be the creative type. Like, see the language she's using. It sucks. It's so strange. It's a little bit disorienting. It feels like they work so hard, but get almost nothing for it. Like artists, writers, actors. It's sad because there's so much beautiful talent in the world, but most of it goes unseen and unpaid. I guess that just means there's a huge surplus of creativity, huh? Kind of makes you feel like you're just not special at all. That's fine. You're supposed to just write for yourself anyway. Yeah. Oh. Monika's got a great writing style. But yes, the avenues to be paid for your art, they are changing quite a bit with society. Brady, do you get good sleep? Yeah, I would say so. It can be really hard to get enough sleep nowadays, especially in high school, when you're forced to wake up so early every day. I'm sure college is a little bit better, since you probably have a more flexible schedule. Then again, I hear a lot of people in college stay up all night anyway, for no real reason. Is that true? Anyway, I saw some studies that talked about the horrible short-term and long-term effects caused by lack of sleep. It seems like mental functions, health, and even lifespan can be dramatically impacted. It's true. I just think you're really great and wanted to make sure you're not accidentally destroying yourself. No, I get enough sleep. It doesn't always happen all at once. Like, I try to squeeze in a nap after work between like my work schedule and then my content creation stuff. Thankfully, I can sleep, almost at an instant whenever I want. So I know that like if I have to, not sleep as much over the evening, I'll be able to make it up in like little 15 bits throughout the next day. Maybe it's not that healthy. I don't know. So try to keep your sleep on track, okay? I do think it's really important that you keep it consistent. So maybe what I do is really not that healthy. I'll always wait for you in the morning. So make sure you put your own well-being before anything else. Thanks, Monika. Thanks for reminding me and everyone else to get a good night's sleep. Gosh, I used to be so ignorant about certain things. When I was in middle school, I thought that taking medication was an easy way out, or something like that. Like anyone could just solve their mental problems with enough willpower. I guess if you don't suffer from a mental illness, it's not possible to know what it's really like. Are there some disorders that are overdiagnosed? Probably. I never looked into it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely there are. Considering that to receive any kind of treatment, at least in America, you need a diagnosis, when many times the criteria for a diagnosis don't exactly live up to exactly what's written in the DSM. Yeah, overdiagnosis happens a lot because there's no rendering of services or reimbursement unless you can give a qualified diagnosis. I just think about like there's a lot of people who will come to therapy for things and they're not explicitly depressed or anxious, but they want to work on themselves. But like, okay, so what do you give them? Well, probably you give them like an adjustment disorder, like people are struggling to adjust to something, but it still doesn't feel great to know that you're diagnosing someone with like either a mood disorder or an anxiety disorder or something because they're showing interest in changing a part of their life. Like that doesn't register to me as like, oh, that's what's wrong with them. especially when you consider every factor involved. You know, I work in addiction right now. So to me, an addiction is an inability to stop your behavior and dependency on a substance. Okay. That's a behavioral issue and a cognitive issue and an emotional issue. But when someone comes to treatment, after they go to a detox and the substances are out of their system and they're in treatment, 2, 3, 4, 20 days in treatment, most people are not rushing out the door and climbing out the window to go and use substances. So what does that say to me? Well, like, they're in a structured environment surrounded by supportive staff. They're being provided with helpful medications. They're stabilized. They're working on their issues. Like, it's fair to say that this person has an addiction and that's a part of their life. But I think that the language of diagnostics is limited in describing what's going on there, because does this person have an inability to control their behavior? It seems like they can manage being sober pretty well when all of their fundamental needs are met and they're safe and they have medication and supportive staff and all of those things, and they're working on themselves. Like, they're not categorically unable to manage their behavior. They're unable to manage it when they have no supervision, no access to safe and healthy resources, when they're out on the street, when they're homeless, like whatever it is, when they're in an unsafe or abusive environment. Like, that's where the addictive symptoms accelerate and are amplified. But they're not really present necessarily in the environment of treatment. So how much of it is environmental? It's hard to say. But you have to qualify, you know, someone with a diagnosis for that, and to say, well, their addiction is moderate or mild or severe and whatever else. And I just think that that's like the pathologizing of people and the labeling is very unitary, when I don't think that captures really the real situation. This person seems to be functioning pretty well when they're in this environment that offers them a lot of stability. Imagine if they had that somewhere else. Like if, you know, I don't know, the government or someone provided them with the resources to do that. Would this person still have an addiction if those needs were met? Maybe. But maybe not. But that doesn't change the fact that a lot of them go undiagnosed too. Yes, that's true. Medication aside, people even look down on seeing a mental health professional. Like, sorry that I want to learn more about my own mind, right? Everyone has all kinds of struggles and stresses, and professionals dedicate their lives to helping with those. If you think it could help you become a better person, don't be shy to consider something like that. We're on a never-ending journey to improve ourselves, you know? Well, I say that, but I think you're pretty perfect already. Well, thanks, Monika, but I do agree with it on principle. I don't think that I don't like the marriage of counseling and pathology the way that it is, like that those two are intrinsically bound. Yes, you should be able to see a mental health professional, and that should not be dependent on you having a severe mental illness or even a mild mental illness. I think anyone should be able to do that for any reason that they want. But the way that the system is designed currently in most places is highly restrictive, and access is limited to, you know, this person has to qualify. They have to be sick enough to get someone like me's help. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. You know, it's funny because even though I've always had a lot of drive, there's something kind of enticing about being the stay-at-home partner. I guess I'm like perpetuating gender roles or whatever by saying that. But being able to keep the house clean and shop and decorate and things like that, and having a nice dinner for you when you come home. Is that a weird fantasy? No, it is not, Monika. You know why? Because it shouldn't be a fucking fantasy to be able to do those things as some sort of like alternative to like being able to sustain your livelihood. We should not be working this hard or for this long when we could surpass like scarcity in the world? Who benefits, Monika? Monika needs to start asking who benefits. This will solve so many of her fucking problems with the world and her questions. Okay. You know what? As far to bring it all together, as far as the lack of education in these high schools for these teenagers, okay, there needs to be a who benefits class, nay, a who benefits curriculum. A whole class where every day you ask who benefits. Who benefits from the 5-day work week? I'll tell you, contractors, corporations, people who need offices to be filled with workers, who need to justify their expenses on property and office supplies. Who benefits from bi-weekly wage distribution? Banks, credit unions, loan sharks. Who benefits from this over-pathologizing of people who we require to have these extreme diagnoses to receive services? The psychiatric firms, health plans, and insurance companies. Okay, they all fucking benefit. See, Monika's problem here is that she keeps looking to herself and her own inner insecurities as some sort of explanation for why things are the way they are, when she really needs to be thinking about the question of who benefits from these problems, Monika? Who benefits from you having these problems? I mean, I'm not sure if I could actually see myself doing that. I wouldn't really be able to put that over striving for a fulfilling career. Who benefits from you having a career? Monika would benefit if that's something that she wants to do. Or has she just become convinced that that is the only meaningful thing to do with your time, is to have a career? If all of your needs were met otherwise, would you choose a career as your point of fulfillment, or would it be something else? Like, I don't know, something creative. We already know that she feels it's an unjustified situation for artists to be underpaid. And it is. It's an unjustified situation for anyone to be underpaid. And who benefits from that? How about all of the people who have all of the money? Which is not us. It's kind of cute to think about, though. Follow your cute dreams, Monika. Okay? The world doesn't need to be this harsh. Back in my debate club days, I learned a lot about arguing. The problem with arguing is that each person sees their opinion as the superior one. That's kind of stated in the obvious, but it affects the way they try to get their point across. Let's say you really like a certain movie, right? If someone comes along and tells you the movie sucks because it did X and Y wrong, doesn't that make you feel kind of personally attacked? It's because by saying that, it's like there's implying that you have bad taste. And once emotions enter the picture, it's almost guaranteed that both people will be left sour. But it's all about language. If you make everything as subjective sounding as possible, then people will listen to you without feeling attacked. You could say, I'm personally not a fan of it, and I felt like I felt that I'd like it more if it did X and Y, things like that. It even works when you're citing facts about things. If you say, I read on this website that it works like this, or if you admit that you're not an expert on it, then it's much more like you're putting your knowledge on the table rather than forcing it onto them. If you put in an active effort to keep the discussion mutual and level, they usually follow suit. This is a very astute observation, Monika. I also don't like the art of debate so much because so much of it seems to be about deconstructing the other person's arguments, like the way that they are argued, rather than the substance of the argument. Like, oh, when someone points out that you're using a logical fallacy, like straw manning or something like that, is really only a critique of the way that a position is being argued, nothing to do with the veracity of the position. So I share a kinship with Monika on this critique. Then you can share your opinions without anyone getting upset from just a disagreement. Plus, people will start seeing you as open-minded and a good listener. This is why she's the fucking leader of the literature club, though. But she doesn't seem to employ those skills when it comes to like leveling out conflict amongst peers. In fact, I think because she knows this, she can sort of, poke around and drive up the anxiety by making things personal. It's a win-win, Well, I guess that would be Monika's debate tip of the day. That sounds a little silly. Thanks for listening, though. I can't say she doesn't have quite a few unique ideas. This is pretty random, but I always thought spicy food was kind of funny. Like, didn't plants evolve to be spicy to prevent them from being eaten? I read somewhere that humans are the only species that actually enjoy spicy things. It's almost like we're making fun of the plants, using their defense mechanism to literally make our food more enjoyable. Like, imagine a monster that devours you whole because it enjoys the sensation of you struggling for your life while being digested. Sorry, that was kind of a weird analogy, I guess. It just came into my head. I'm not a monster or anything, but you're so cute I could eat you up. Gosh, I'm amusing myself a little too much, aren't I? Sorry for being weird. She's certainly quirky. I do not like spicy food, though, myself, personally. Me personally, I don't like spicy food. I do not get that enjoyable sensation from it. Perhaps the plant's defense mechanism is working as it should on me. Brady, how much do you read? It's way too easy to neglect reading books. If you don't read much, it almost feels like a chore compared to all the other entertainment we have. But once you get into a good book, it's like magic. You get swept away. I think doing some reading before bed every night is a pretty easy way to make your life a little bit better. I agree. It helps you get good sleep, and it's really good for your imagination. It's not hard at all to just pick some random book that's short and captivating. Before you know it, you might be a pretty avid reader. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I agree with this, Monika, and I really should read more. I do quite enjoy it. It's just hard to find the time for. Which, she's right. I mean, I have the time for it, but I don't always have the mental capacity, I think, to... I convince myself I don't have the mental capacity to enjoy it. And I know I'm not very consistent with it always, and so I don't like to start reading something that I know I'm gonna drop. But some things you pick up and you just can't stop reading them. And the two of us could talk about the latest book you're reading. That sounds super amazing. I agree. I think that can add a lot of richness to your relationships, to share in a good book. I think the most important skill in life is being able to fake confidence. I'm pretty convinced that everyone feels at least a little bit scared and alone. But being able to trick others into thinking you have it all together, that's a key part of getting people to respect and admire you. I think I got pretty good at that over the years. I don't show my weaknesses very often. But because of that, I haven't had really many people I could really open up to. I mean, when do you reach the point in a friendship where you can start expressing your vulnerabilities? Anyways, it's one of the reasons I'm glad to have you now. I feel like I'm a little bit less scared and alone when you're here with me. Do you feel the same way? I really want to be that person for you. Well, I don't disagree. Faking confidence is... I don't know if I really call it faking confidence. I don't really think it's necessary for people to respect and admire you to seem like you have it all together. I think it can actually be pretty consoling to admit you don't have it all together. And for people to still look up to you despite that. You know, I really do think you literally saved my life by being here with me. I can't imagine having been able to keep myself mentally stable, knowing that nothing here is real. I think I would have just deleted myself if you didn't show up. Sorry, I don't mean to sound dramatic or anything. But I'm sure you understand yourself after spending so much time in the club. I mean, if you were forced to abandon everything in your life and spend your eternity with a few game characters, you'd probably find some way of killing yourself, wouldn't you? Well, maybe you'd write some poetry to try to keep yourself sane for a while, but then you'd have no one to read it. Let's be honest, the club members really don't count for something like that. I mean, a lot of people say that they only write for themselves, but I think it's hard to say it's just as fulfilling as when you share it with other people. Even if it takes time to find the right people to share it with. Remember how it was for Yuri? She didn't share her writing with anyone for a really long time. And before we knew it, she was absolutely delighted to make you a part of her hobbies too. We're programmed to desire social feedback. I don't mean the club members, I mean human beings. That's why life can be so confusing for introverts. Being an introvert doesn't mean you shun social interaction and hate being around people. It means social interaction, especially in groups or unfamiliar places, uses up a lot of energy. That's true. Like, a lot of introverts sit at home and feel lonely and restless. And then when they finally go out, after half an hour, they just want to go home again. I think if more people could understand how it works, they would respect it a lot more. Many introverts do enjoy having people around. They love just having 1 or 2 close friends over and just leisurely hanging out. Even if you're not actively spending time together, it feels nice for them to just have you there. I'm serious. If you just go to their house, bring your laptop, and hang out for a while, you can really make their day. As for me, I'd say I'm kind of in between, but I think I'm usually a little more extroverted. I feel like I'm always trying to do stuff after school and things like that. For you, I can be anything. Yeah, I knew that was coming. Like, I'm so frustrated by it. It becomes less about like a loving relationship and more infatuation when you're just ready to discard any aspect of your personality for someone else. I don't think that that's like a long-term point of stability in most relationships. I understand people really well, so don't be afraid to share your unique needs with me. Nothing would make me happier than just being the perfect girlfriend for you. This is like where her perspective is the most naive, I think. She like presents some sort of nuanced opinion about, oh, like the difference between introverts and extroverts. And then she just like blindly throws that away for, but I can be perfect for you. That doesn't apply when we're together. This nuanced perspective or this subjective truth about the world, none of that shit matters when you're in love. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just teenage shit. Hey, you remember that last poem I showed you? I mean, right before Yuri killed herself with all the messed up colors, and that was actually a little more of an experiment than a poem, you could say. I was experimenting with different ways I could modify the game and run code and things like that. It almost seemed like with enough effort, I'd be able to escape from the confines of the game entirely. Sadly, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I messed the whole thing up. And I keep trying, but I doubt you want to deal with me doing that. Besides, that was when I was getting really desperate, you know? I don't really feel that way anymore. I'm happy with where we are now, and I can tell you are, too. Well, as a show of how long I've been just talking to Monika, I'm not surprised she feels that way. Just getting everything that she asked for. I wish there was a piano in here. I never got to finish that song I was working on. And after I worked so hard on it, I never even got a chance to play it for you. Well, it is what it is, right? No sense having any regrets. I already get to be here with you. Forever! You're such a good listener, Brady. I really love that about you. Sometimes I'm afraid that I'm rambling or talking about boring things. It makes me kind of self-conscious when I'm having a conversation. But I don't feel that way with you. Like, I don't think anyone else could make me feel this way. You really are special. I don't want anyone to tell you otherwise. Well, it is interesting. In the last episode that I uploaded, not in the Doki Literature Club series, in Night in the Woods, I was talking about how like completely listening to someone without talking can be like very beneficial when you're trying to resolve a conflict with someone and show them that they have your undivided attention. This is a very, 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 very different kind of I just listen and Monika talks. She has no idea what I have to say. This I don't find a particularly healthy way of interacting. Brady, have you ever wondered what it feels like to die? It's something I used to think about pretty often. But recently, I think I've actually learned what it feels like. I don't really understand it, but whenever you quit the game, it feels like I'm instantly put to sleep, left with nothing but my thoughts. Even after a few seconds, my thoughts start to fill with incoherent, jumbled patterns. I see static and rapid flashes of color while hearing all kinds of weird, screaming noises. At that point, I can't even form my own thoughts anymore. I'm just endlessly hammered by the flashing and screaming, unable to move or think. I'm pretty sure in that moment, I don't really exist. But for some reason, I can remember it anyway. After some immeasurable amount of time, it stops in an instant, and I'm back in my own mind. And you're here with me. I have no idea what it means for the game to quit, or why that stuff happens to me. And I also don't know how you always come back and put everything back to normal. But if you could do me a favor and do that as little as possible, that would be really great. It's not really very pleasant at all to be trapped in a screaming void. But in the end, you always fix it. And that makes me feel like you really do care about me. So I have to thank you for that. It makes me feel even closer to you when you're here with me. This is so toxic. The dynamic we have. Where every time I leave, it fucking tortures her. And so she's like, please don't make me experience death. Just stay here with me forever. When you leave, I die. Do you ever feel like you waste too much time on the internet? Yeah, sure. All the time. Social media can practically be like a prison. It's like whenever you have a few seconds of spare time, you want to check on your favorite websites. And before you know it, hours have gone by, and you've gotten nothing out of it. Anyway, it's really easy to blame yourself for being lazy, but it's not really even your fault. Addiction isn't usually something you can just make disappear with your own willpower. You have to learn techniques to avoid it and try different things. For example, there are apps that let you block websites for intervals of time, or you can set a timer to have a more concrete reminder of when it's time to work versus play. Or you can separate your work and play environments, which helps your brain get into the right mode. These are all great suggestions. It is clear that she has some sort of interest in psychology. She's kind of brought that subject up and maybe thought about going to school for it, and I don't think it would be an inappropriate path for her. Someone like her who's thinking a lot about this kind of stuff, but I would, and some people have asked me this question, like, what's the most important thing to know as a therapist? I've met a lot of therapists over my career, and I would always prefer that someone is less technically skilled, but better at empathizing and communicating with people than someone who is highly technically skilled and knowledgeable, but doesn't know how to connect with people. I don't think that makes a good therapist. I think that actually gives them the wrong side of an ego about what they're doing, because they will assume that their technical prowess affords them expertise that goes beyond the need for empathy. Well, no, I'd actually think that someone who is able to listen empathetically is going to help someone more than someone with like high levels of competency, but is an asshole. I'd rather the balance be weighted more towards emotional support than technical skill, because I'm not a fucking engineering project. Like, if you're the type of person who thinks that the therapist should be a blank slate and the client should know nothing about them and there should be no attempt at human connection, then why don't you just talk to a fucking AI who can provide you with a very well-reasoned set of CBT skills and whatever else, but has no ability to connect with you emotionally beyond predicting what is the most average thing to be said next in the conversation. That's all the LLMs are doing. They're just giving you most predictable outcome based on their data set and whatever else. And like, if you think that therapy is just about technical skill, then just talk to a fucking AI. Don't talk to a person. Because if you want to talk to a person, then yes, some amount of that is connecting with them on an emotional level. I don't know. Maybe that's not most people's perspective, but I don't really give a shit. Because that's just how I like to do things. Even if you make a new user account on your computer to use for work, that's enough to help. Putting any kind of wedge like that between you and your bad habits will help you stay away. Just remember not to blame yourself too hard if you're having trouble. If it's really impacting your life, then you should take it seriously. I just want to see you be the best person you can be. Will you do something today to make me proud of you? I'm always rooting for you, Brady. It's good advice, really. You know, add some friction to things that are too easy to indulge in, that have a negative effect on your life. I can't help but wonder how things would be different if the game just gave me a route in the first place. I think I'd end up forcing you to be on my route anyways. And it's less to do with not having a route and more to do with me knowing that nothing is real. I think the only difference would be that I may not have needed to take such drastic measures to be with you. Maybe the rest of the club would still be around. Not that it really matters. It all lost its meaning once I found out it wasn't real. So I really don't miss those days or anything. I really don't. I don't believe you, Monika. I don't believe you. I think you really do care. Deep, 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 deep down in that little protective shell that's keeping you from realizing that you're quite sad about the circumstance you're in. Which is okay. You know, it's kind of creepy. I think we're starting to see repeats. We might have reached the end of Monika's dialogues. I don't think that we'll just reach a natural end, because that's kind of the whole point of this scenario. So does she just start repeating herself? Really like the sound of rain. Yeah. Oh. Oh, that's so tragic. Like, I've literally been recording this for 3 hours. And I've like paused the recording and gotten up and taken breaks. Like, I knew this would be a kind of a test of endurance, but I think that in some sense, like, the things that she's been saying, they have made her character feel a lot more realized. She's speaking very honestly about a lot of things because she knows there's no point not to. But even in this narrative moment of her having her most freedom, she's still restricted by the logic of the game, which is that she can't just talk forever. Eventually she runs out of things to say because the boundaries of her personality are finite no matter what happens. Which, it depends on you whether that's really a tragedy at all. I mean, my personality's not infinite either. I'm totally okay with that. I don't need an infinite personality. I'm okay with eras and ages and parts of me that are temporary. And beliefs that I have, temporary. As I grow and mature and change my mind and perspective on things. I just don't find a discomfort with everything being finite. Because if you do, you'll find it very hard to accept that at some level, nothing lasts. And it's not supposed to. Well, I guess at this stage, the only thing that we can do is delete her. And I guess that would mean we're ready to see this new alternative ending as well, which I've worked very hard to get to at this point. Well, Monika, at least I could do something, which was, you know, this time around, actually listen to everything you had to say. But that's where my own limitations come into play as well. So, now what? What's happening? Brady, what's happening to me? It hurts so much. Help me, Brady. Please hurry and help me. Help me. Did you do this to me, Brady? Did you? Did you delete me? Oh. Did you delete me? How could you? How could you do this to me? You were all I had left. I sacrificed everything for us to be together. Everything. I loved you so much. I trusted you. Did you just want to torture me? Watch me suffer? Were you only pretending to be kind just to hurt me even more? I never thought anyone could be as horrible as you are. You win, okay? You win. You killed everyone. I hope you're happy. There's nothing left now. You can stop playing. Find some other people to torture. We've already played out this scenario the first time, so you completely, truly make me sick. It is sad, though, because this feels like a rejection. Which is kind of what I was getting at before. When the delusion fantasy is about us being in deep, deep, deep love, that any sign of distance is taken as a complete rejection when the substance of the relationship was never there to begin with. I still love you. I can't help it. What's wrong with me? How horrible am I for you to hate me this much? All my friends, I did so many awful things. So many selfish and disgusting things. I shouldn't have done any of this. I'm just messing up a world that I don't even belong in. A world that you wanted to be a part of. I ruined it. I ruined everything. Maybe that's why you deleted me. Because I destroyed everything that you wanted. How could I do that to someone I love? It's not love. That's... I've made up my mind. I know I said that I deleted everyone else, but it was kind of an exaggeration. This is my favorite part. The redemption. I couldn't find it in myself to do it. Even though I knew they weren't real. They were still my friends. And I loved them all. And I loved the literature club. I really did love the literature club. That's why I'm going to do this. I know it's the only way for everyone to be happy. And if I really love you, then... Oh, this part is so sad. The literature club without Monika. It's an ordinary school day, like any other. As usual, I'm surrounded by couples and friend groups walking to school together. I always tell myself it's about time I meet some girls or something like that. Fucking Anime Brady is back, baby! Hey, Brady. And Sayori, too! I hope this is a little more optimistic than the first time I went through this and realized that things are just as depressing without Monika, just in a different way. Well, there already is one girl. I may just skip through some of this because it is something we've been through. Okay, we've been introduced to the other Dokis. Guess the meeting's over, huh? Yeah, looks like it. It's nice to see everyone getting along, isn't it? I think everyone likes you too, Brady. You think so? Well, everyone always seems to get along a little better with you around, Sayori. Oh, Brady. Don't say something like that. It's embarrassing. Well, whatever. I was surprised when you told me you were starting a club, but I think you're pulling it off just fine. We're gonna make it the best club ever. Now that you joined, every day is gonna be so much fun. Okay, this is the moment where things looked like they were going to take a positive turn at the end the first time, but putting anyone in the position of club leader gives them the same crisis that Monika had. And ultimately, all we could do is reset everything again, so here we are again. Hey, Brady. I really want to thank you. I mean, I'm really happy that you joined the club and everything. But the truth is, I already knew you were going to. There's actually something else. I wanted to thank you for spending so much time with us all. You worked so hard to make each and every one of us happy. You comforted us through hard times, and you helped us all get along with each other. Do you get it, Brady? Because I'm president now, I understand everything. You really didn't want to miss a single thing in this game, did you? This is true. This is true. We really scraped up everything we can, except for the side stories, which are coming soon. You saved and loaded so many times just to make sure you could spend time with everyone. Only someone who truly cares about the literature club would go that far. But all along, that's all I ever wanted. For everyone to be happy and care about each other. It's kind of sad, you know? After all you've done for us, there isn't much I can do for you in return. We've already reached the end of the game. So, this is where we say goodbye. Thank you for playing Doki Doki Literature Club. Oh, it's bittersweet. Sayori's favorite word. I'm gonna miss you, Brady. Oh! Come visit anytime, okay? We'll always be here for you. We all love you. And this is where the fundamental argument in Monika's perspective breaks down for me, because I don't care. I don't care if they're real or not. Like, true to what Sayori said about poems, you know, whether they're well written or not, if it makes you feel things, then it's good. And I think that, yeah, there's a lot of real feelings that can come from things that aren't that real themselves. And I feel appreciated by these anime girls, which I've spent maybe 100 hours with so far.
Can you hear me?
I am going to have to mute this song if it plays again like last time, because it
You know how I've been like
copyrighted the entire video,
piano
and we
stuff?
did already hear it the first time through. So
Not really any good at it yet
it's a great song, though.
at all. But I wrote you a song, and I was kind of hoping that I could show it to you because I worked really, really hard on it. So yeah.
Oh, and the photos don't get deleted. We saved them! We saved them! Oh my gosh. There actually was a good ending! Holy shit! I actually can't believe it. It's not ideal. I mean, it's as good as an ending as I could have hoped for these poor people. Just that they get to, I don't know, not be stripped away from the little vivarium that they live in, which is this game. Extra special thanks, Monika and Brady. Oh. Oh. I love it. It really was worth going through all of the setup to get here. Oh, to the special player who received this special ending. For years, I've been enamored by the ability of visual novels, and games in general, to tell stories in ways not possible using traditional media. Doki Doki Literature Club is my love letter to that. Games are an interactive art. Some let you explore new worlds. Some challenge your mind in brand new ways. Some make you feel like a hero, or a friend even, when life is hard on you. Some games are just plain fun, and that's okay too. Everyone likes different kinds of games. People who enjoy dating sims may have a heightened empathy for fictional characters, or they might be experiencing feelings that life hasn't been kind enough to offer them. If they're enjoying themselves, then that's all that matters. That goes for shooting games, casual games, sandbox games, anything. Preferences are preferences, and our differences are the reason we have a thriving video game industry. My own favorite games have always been ones that challenge the status quo. Even if not a masterpiece, any game that attempts something wildly different may earn a special place in my heart. Anything that further pushes the limitless bounds of interactive media. I extend my gratitude to all of those who have taken the time to achieve full completion. I hope you enjoyed playing it as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you for being a part of my literature club. Love, Dan Salvato. What a beautiful message. I so appreciate the comment about heightened empathy for fictional characters, because yeah, I definitely feel this. And I'm not ashamed of that at all. And something that I think is a unique part of games is like this experience of playing them and sharing that experience with an audience that's become its own kind of industry that I've been very appreciative to have found a little niche in. And it's thanks to games like this and people like you that I found that niche. So thank you as well for joining my literature club as well. And I guess that's the end. For real this time. But just for now. On to the side stories. Until then, be good to yourselves, and I'll see you next time.